In our coaching session this past week, we wrapped up our focus on May being National Physical Fitness Month. We'd gotten a head start in mid-April, as you remember, on this with our group assignments for physical activity. Each one of those assignments is intended to help you to take on something different, something outside your routines, outside your comfort zone, so to speak, just to see if there's anything new to add to your commitment to live an active and healthy lifestyle. Let's face it, there are times when we bump up against a glass ceiling in how we approach our physical activity and our diet for that matter. Glass ceiling being a term for basically just falling into limited thinking about how things have got to be, when the truth is, at times, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way exactly. So it's useful to have these assignments. They give us a time-limited opportunity to push up against the glass ceiling and to question whatever limiting belief we may have, or beliefs for that matter. We all have them. On the exercise front, just take short bouts. So many people avoid or don't even observe these as opportunities. Short bouts don't matter for me. What good can they be? They're just insignificant little episodes of exercise, when in fact, they can be a piece to the puzzle. In fact, are they a piece to the puzzle for you? And we could say that about any of our physical activity assignments, the ones that we have given over the past 6 weeks. So we had a lot of people take on different activities that were outside their comfort zones. And we shared some slides on this. Carol, well done, taking on isometric exercises. Nancy, taking on increasing her intensity, going up the hill at the end of her walk. I showed this in our phase 1 sessions. Those of you in phase 2 will see this, and we'll talk about it more in the sessions this week. Many members shared taking the stairs during this challenge when they otherwise would not. And in some of our sessions, we reviewed some of the incredible health protection that we get from taking just 50 stairs or more per day. So this week's challenge, the final physical activity assignment during this challenge, pick a day and pick at least one of these PA skill areas to push on outside your comfort zone. Really get into your stretch zone on this as part of moving your body more, moving your body differently, and do this for your weight, but most importantly for your health. So the skill areas: short bouts, multiple bouts, high days, extending your PA, even if it's just for 5 minutes, increasing intensity, brief episodes, just getting the heart rate up. Work those into a workout, and or strength training or isometric exercises, which takes very little time. Now, those are the assignments. Take it on, and let's see where we could take it in our conversations this week. Having said that, in our phase 1 sessions, a lot of our conversations this past week revolved around an amazing study that looked at what happens in our brains as we become increasingly more tempted by challenging foods. Thinking about them, seeing the tempting foods, actually smelling the tempting foods, and then eventually tasting them. Really look at this slide. Going from left to right, you see essentially no brain activity related to food temptation on the far left, moving towards increasingly more activity. And another way of describing brain activity around tempting foods is food stress, decision anxiety, food chatter about these tempting foods. Needless to say, this activity in our brains uses up our mental energy and, of course, leads to a depletion in our willpower, in our resolve to make the next healthy choice. So all of the work that we do in our coaching sessions is really intended to do that, to support you to make more healthy choices, to essentially shift your brain from the right to the left towards less food stress, less decision anxiety, less food chatter in the mind, which again supports you to make the next healthy choice. And leading the charge in terms of what's most effective to shift our brains from the left to the right is, first and foremost, pushing the volume of low-calorie foods that you're eating. I want to thank Rich, for providing this photo. This is Rich's dinner. That's his bowl. What's your version of the Jethro bowl, or the Jethro shake for that matter? Volume comes in lots of different sizes. Next, pushing variety to appeal to your dietary urges in a more complete way. Because, as we always say, human beings like variety. human beings need variety. And the more variety that we have, it just serves to push dietary boredom further away. Speaking of variety, in 4 of the coaching sessions that I did this week, people championed melon in every single one of them: watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew. And I don't know about you, but I was pretty inspired by this. See how many days it takes for me to eat this. And yes, I do think I will have this qualify as resistance training, depending on how many times I lift it. So, pulling out the original HMR calorie system, how many of you go back to remember this, the Popcorn Peanuts book? Where does melon fall? That's the question. Calorie-wise, where does melon fall? Well, it's among the lowest fruits, calorie-wise, on the planet Earth, and it's really the only things lower: lemons and limes. Well, I think while we're all eagerly waiting to hear Mary C's update on her big high lime day, that is, of course, unless her head caves in, I don't think we're pushing the lemons and limes too much, but we can absolutely push the melon. Okay, so that was just one of many dietary takeaways. And then last, we covered if you want to put your work on volume and variety on steroids, if you want to get the most out of pushing volume and variety, well, then start playing Vulcan chess with, drum roll please, strategic timing. Know thy witching hours and start prepping in advance of the healthy meal or snack that will help you get by your witching hours. And there really is no better example of this preemptive timing, than Mary S.'s hard-hitting strategy that she had shared many months ago for how she initially crushed this amazing weight loss. Her preemptive alarm strategy. She essentially brought a complete focus to avoiding the ride up the craving curve. That is a ride that we don't want to make. And making that next healthy choice, it's just so much easier when you go earlier and more often with your healthy choices. So that was an awesome example. Okay, to wrap up here, on a whim, I popped into the end of one of Bill's Phase 2 sessions this week, Thursday, 10 a.m. And I know I shouldn't be surprised, but I caught the fabulous Will, mid-sentence, sharing in his uniquely heartfelt way the immense value that he gets from others in the group, the community, as he always says, and the humanity that this work requires, and that we all contribute to in our coaching sessions. As Will has said 1,000 times, we are all in this together with the shared goal to conquer our I don't want tos. Will, just brilliant stuff as always. And finally, a quick shout out to Denise L., who is setting a new standard for her work in Phase 2. She was in that class that I popped into. And when she was sharing right at the end of the group about one of her biggest takeaways from the sessions in recent weeks, I will quote her: "There are clear times in the week when I need to just stop, and make a shake." I like that. Don't we all have those times? Given the challenges that this work requires, that we need to meet head on. So for someone, it's a shake. For a lot of us, it's probably a shake. Or whatever the other next healthy choice is, just stop and get in action with the next right thing. All right. We covered a lot more in the coaching sessions this past week, but that's it for now with this update. Good luck finishing this week strong, and really give the physical activity assignment, our final one in this challenge, the attention it deserves. Good luck.